My face is smiling so much it hurts. Hi, you guys. I'm smiling. My face hurts because I finally have Jessica Erwin here on the podcast. And those of you guys
Hello.
that are part of our Sweet Life company and family and our clients, you guys know Jessica because she is our COO. And everything that happens in any sort of organized fashion at all, any systems whatsoever, are done by Jessica. So you can thank Jessica for that, including Jessica working with our podcast team to even produce the show for you. So it's been probably too long that we have dragged our feet or waited or found a good time to get her on the show. But I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Jessica. And today we're talking about 5 different keys to sell out your offer. But before we dive into that, I want you guys to get to know Jessica a little bit. And Jessica, why don't you share, what you do and how long you've been with us at the Sweet Life Company and really your area of expertise, because you're absolutely incredible.
Oh, you're too kind. Let's see. I've been officially on the books for like a year and a half, so right about there. But I started as a client, and before I was a client, I was a binger of all things Sweet Life Entrepreneur Podcast, and in Clubhouse, and in all the things that I could get my hands on for April Beach. And I knew that I wanted to be in your circle, and so I worked my way into that. And I think it was after being a client maybe for a month and a half that we had a conversation, and it was like, hey Jessica, how about how about if we just pivot you just a little bit and you come to work behind the scenes here. And it worked out really great. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, for sure. Always have been. I've had a lot of different things that I've done, from restaurants and catering to women's clothing stores to just my own coaching practice, a lot of different things. But when you can align with somebody that you have a lot of similar goals, a lot of good overlap of the way that you see things, I still get to do client work, but I love the behind the scenes work and building things and tinkering. So it's fun. It works really good. And I'm here and I'm super excited on one of my favorite podcasts. Yay.
And you're really good at it. So, as CEOs, we all pray for somebody who can come in and put our systems in place and make sure our systems are running like clockwork. And that's what you do for our company. And one of your areas of specialty is actually also sales and working with our clients in helping them to position their offers so that they're all sold out. So you do a lot of work one-on-one with clients and one-on group within our accelerator and our business growth ecosystem. And I know our clients just love you. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And
Fun.
the reason why this is so important, you guys, we've been talking about offers. We've done shows recently on the difference between an actual product and an offer. And there are parts of an offer that is very marketing. It's very messaging. It's very communication. And I think people get confused on, hey, are we actually talking about the course or the program or the actual product I'm delivering versus what am I doing when it comes to actually making the offer to help somebody? And so today I'm really excited. We're going to do this a little bit interview style to unpack what we teach our clients on the 5 keys to build a sold out offer, and going into your genius brain in helping our listeners understand how they can apply this immediately to their business. So that's what I'm excited to talk about.
Awesome. I was just talking to somebody just a couple of days ago. We work with some amazing, brilliant people who are by far and away like leaders within whatever it is that they teach, and what they know. But you've got 2 sides. You've got your expertise and what you know and what you're going to teach somebody, and then the ability to sell and market that. Those are 2 different things. And I think it can be disheartening to some, because that marketing and sales traits, those traits don't necessarily come as natural. And like, that's okay, because we can teach those things and we can build things around it. And knowing some of these things aren't exactly intuitive to everybody. So I love that we can just teach them these small tricks, techniques, to really spiff things up and make them sell, get them into people's hands.
Yeah, that's so true. And how many of you guys are listening that feel that? You feel like you're really good at what you do, but you're the best kept secret. You might not be the best marketer. You might not be out there doing videos all the time. You might not have, thousands and thousands of social media followers, and that's okay. As a matter of fact, most people that are real true experts in their craft do not spend a lot of time hanging out on social media commenting on other people's stuff. They're too busy helping their clients get results. And so that's why, just what we're talking about today and what we teach, and just unpacking these 5 different assets of how you can upgrade your offer to really sell it out is so powerful. And I love the work that you do with our clients in this. And I know there's so many of our clients that are going to be listening to this episode too, being like, oh yeah, we know this already. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So there are 5 different, what we call keys to a sold out offer. And these keys are really important. And before we dive into these, you guys, let me just remind you, we're not talking about the actual product itself. So I'm going to talk about that actually in next week's episode. So we're not talking about the program or the training or the outline or the curriculum or the IP or the content. We're talking about 5 different keys to make an offer that makes people literally feel crazy if they don't want to buy it, because why would they not want to buy this? And so what is the first one, Jessica, that you want to unpack for us today? The first of the 5 keys to a sold out offer.
I would start with pricing. I think that pricing's a good place to start. It's one of our first objections, maybe when we go in to buy something new. So hitting that right, nailing that is incredibly important.
Perfect. And when we're talking about pricing, what do you usually say to our clients? I know when you're working with them, to help them be confident about their pricing structure. There's so much psychology behind pricing, and high ticket, high results, high reward for sure. But there are also different industries that they thrive on low ticket mini offers and low ticket pricing. So what are some of the tips that you give regarding pricing when businesses are looking to actually price their offer?
I think that something that is often overlooked is really good market research. We need to know what our competitors are doing and what's going on in this space. Not so that we're more expensive, not so that we're less expensive, not for anything other than really knowing what people are doing. That'll help us know a bit of what is selling. And we can do that in a lot of different ways, but really figuring out what other people are charging. I think within pricing also, sometimes people come up with an arbitrary number, or maybe they've heard, you are worth so much, don't undersell. Like, we've heard that. It's really easy to say on Instagram that you should never coach for less than, I don't know, some ridiculous $20,000. Right. Yes. Girl, you are worth that. However, selling that is selling that and charge that are 2 different things. So it's important to know what people are pricing things at, what they're getting. And does your offer stack up against theirs? So just learning some of those things are important. When I think about pricing, I also think about the ease of purchase for potential clients coming in. If the price of what you're selling is going to be an objection for them, how can we help them with that? Of course, there's payment plans. We can look at that. What sits well with you? Payment plans are anything from over the course of the training that you're giving. I've seen them weekly. Like, that came up on my screen like recently, and I was reading about it, and I don't know if my accounting brain can get on board with that, but if that helps somebody make something more palatable to buy, I'm not here to judge what's in somebody's bank account, but I do need to collect on the offer that I'm selling. So I want to make it as easy for somebody to buy as possible.
Those are such good tips. The market research is so smart. You are exactly right. There are so many people out there saying, well, just charge this and just charge this. And there's zero research behind that. And we are in business for a reason. So much that there's, rumors about crackdown on the coaching industry because there are coaches that are charging overpriced amounts and not delivering ROI. So it's our responsibility as businesses to be charging based on the ROI and the market value of what we deliver. Again, we have very high ticket programs within our ecosystem of offers. We also have low ticket programs. And so we're advocates of all, as long as they align with you and your business. And then the other thing I would say to just add on to that is that there are, and by the way, you guys, Jessica's the one that made me realize this. We've always done payment plans for years, right? We've been in business for decades. And Jessica goes, when we do a payment plan, we're actually the bank. We actually become the bank. We are actually financing this. And even though obviously we are, I actually hadn't thought about it like that until Jessica said that. I was like, wait a minute, I am the bank. We are financing this for our clients. And when they default a contract, just like if somebody bought a car, we're going to give them the whole car up front. But if you're the one building the payment plan for it and you are the bank, let's make sure that, you have structures in place to actually collect on that as well. So if you don't want to be the bank, there are other organizations out there that fund programs. Your program can actually get qualified, and that is a bank that funds coaching programs. And so there are other resources for you to do that if you guys don't feel like being the bank. So I just remember that was just a big mind shift for me, because I was like, oh yeah, I am. We're being the bank.
Yeah, right. And do you want to be the bank? I mean, do you want to take that risk? So there's a risk associated with it. And we just, as always, have to look at the risk versus the reward and what we're willing to pay, what we're willing to do.
Right. Especially in programs where we give like everything up front.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely in those programs. Okay, awesome. Okay, so number one, first step to a sold out offer is making sure your pricing is right, making sure it aligns with the market, making sure it's researched, making sure it aligns with your value and the clients you want to attract. Certainly. Okay, what is the second one that you want to dive into today?
Second one, scarcity/urgency.
Awesome.
So why does somebody need to buy this right now? Why is it important for me to run into the other room and grab my wallet and put in my credit card information? Or can I just hang out and wait and it'll be there next year, whatever that might be. And sometimes we do need to wait and we jump into things a little quickly, but as somebody trying to market and sell your product, you want somebody to have a reason to buy it right now. So we can build in things within your offer, hopefully, and should be in a really above board, ethical way. I've seen way too many ads and things that come across my screen that I'm like, you are so lying, because this is still going to be available tomorrow.
Right.
You are lying right now, and I know it, and I can't even look any further. So we want to be sure that we're actually saying, if there's a deadline on something, that we mean it. I only have 5 personal coaching spots available this month. Well, what if 6 people came to you? Would you say yes to that 6th person? Then maybe you shouldn't say you only have 5. We need to make sure that we are being honest in our dealings, and there are lots of ways to do that. I was working with a client just yesterday on it, on a special thing that she has going on this summer, and we were talking about the bonuses that we could offer, which goes into our next one, which is bonuses, but the scarcity of the bonuses, that they're going to go away depending on when you buy and when you sign up. So there are things that we can do that are absolutely ethical and that really make somebody say, oh, yes, okay, I'm off the fence, I'm going. I'm going to have the difficult conversation, I'm going to do it. And make them jump.
That's awesome. Okay, love scarcity, and thank you for making those points. Absolutely, that's awesome. All right, so you said the next one is bonuses. Let's talk about bonuses.
Favorite is my favorite. I talk to people about this we talk about this all the time.
All the time, you guys. Every week, Jessica's in talking to our clients about bonuses and the most juiciest bonuses, and she has the best bonus ideas, by the way, because you have a strategy for bonuses.
I do. I do. Bonuses should should be developed and should be offered as a way to help them get overcome objections. So if there's a reason why somebody might not buy your course, or something that's holding them back, or they're scared about something, or they're unsure about how they're going to X, Y, or Z, we can create bonuses to really pad the offer and help somebody see that was an objection. No, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to complete this particular course. Oh, well, I have a time management bonus in there, and it's gonna answer that problem for you, whatever that might be surrounding. And it doesn't have to go line by line actually with your exact offer. It can be all around it. I've seen some dang juicy bonuses thrown into something that really, I wouldn't necessarily call them a stretch. They're still in the same like sphere, but like, I've seen Facebook ads training put into an offer building course. And so not necessarily the same thing, right? But somebody who wants to buy a course on building an offer is going to need to sell that eventually. And that's a fear, or, a weakness maybe that they have, that we can throw bonuses in. And I mean, you can pull bonuses from your massive hard drive of things that you've already created. You can work with partners on this. Both April and I have come into lots of different programs and done different trainings and helped people. And you can do that same thing with business associates that you have, or experts that you find online that you really want to work with, and ask if they'll put a bonus into your course. I mean, it's a win-win. So I love bonuses, and I think they're overlooked and too much just thrown together. We need to be a little bit more strategic about it.
Yeah. So I want you guys to, our sound just went a little wacky there. Hope you guys can still hear us. I want you guys to think about what Jessica said regarding bonuses. Write this down. Bonuses should be a direct response to objections that people will have about your offer. So if you want to sit down and make a list of, what are the top 5 things that I hear somebody say, well, I don't have enough time, or I can't afford it, or, this is going to be too hard of work. This work is going to require too much effort. What can you do to fix that problem for them already? And those can become your bonuses to your program. And it's just absolutely gold. We just did this in our offer engineering training that we just did. We sat down and we listed all the objectives, and then actually redid a whole bunch of bonuses. We've had this training for a while, and they were so cool because they were different to the most current objectives or objections that people had about diving into a training during the summertime. So they were really specific to summer. As a matter of fact, one of our bonuses we've never done before is the VIPs having access to Jessica in Voxer for a month after this offer building masterclass that we did. And it was because everybody's busy, everybody's traveling, and they're going to want what we call an afterburn support and access to both of us in Voxer. And that just happened to be what applied to be a bonus for when we were dropping this masterclass in the summertime. And it was a fun process to go through. And I love the strategy of that. So I think that's so cool.
I could talk for hours about bonuses.
I know we should do a whole entire bonus. We'll do an episode.
Note to self, future episode, all about bonuses. Okay.
Juicy bonus episode.
Yes.
All right.
Let me do some market research.
Right. So we have 2 more. So far we've talked about price, we've talked about scarcity, we've talked about bonuses. We promised you guys 5 keys to sold out offers here on the show today. So what is the 4th one? And really kind of goes hand in hand with the 5th one. I know people get confused about this. So take us in this direction.
Yeah, let's bring them out together. And that is a guarantee and a promise. So 4 and 5, guarantee and a promise. They're not interchangeable. They do stand on their own, but they both work to build trust with your potential clients, and the guarantee specifically works to build in a lot of safety and ensure that a client knows that you're not going to let them fail, or whatever it is that you guarantee. So let's talk about a guarantee first. When you go into a store and you buy something, in general, like you've got return policies, right? That's a form of a guarantee. I know that if my phone from Apple stops working within however many months, I'm going to be able to get it replaced or fixed, something like that. When it comes to coaching offers, those can be a little bit tricky because not everything is in your control. It's so hard because you can just pour your heart and soul and 40 plus years of experience into somebody. But if that client doesn't do the work that's necessary, or the world, I don't know, shuts down for a couple of years, or, right, there's so many things that can get in the way. Having a guarantee in place can help a potential client say, all right, well, barring natural disasters that are outside of these people's control, I know that they stand behind their work. So there's guarantees that'll be, if you don't get 5 new clients, and this is for somebody else's program, of course, but if you don't get 5 new clients within 45 days, then your money back. Or if you don't get 5 new clients within 45 days, I'll work with you until you do. There's, different things within that. There's also like short-term guarantees, like, hey, if you start this program and within 14 days, if you don't feel like this is for you, I'll give you a no questions money back. That's one type of guarantee that we can offer. It's always going to be, if you do this or don't do this, I'll give you this. There's always like a tit for tat. There's always, I'm going to give you something if you've done something else. That's an important part. There's a deal to it. There's a real handshake there.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing that you help our clients understand when you say, like, it's an if this, then that. Like, if
Right.
this doesn't happen, then we're going to do that. And that is the biggest thing that helps me to remember and process the difference between a guarantee and a promise. That I know that guarantee that we're making is like, if this, then that. And you guys, just like Jessica said, we are all teachers. That's what we do. We can't go home with our students and our clients at night and make sure they do the work and make sure they delegate it correctly to their teams. There are certain things we can control. So, you can also ask for things, like, hey, you need to show me that you did the work, or you need to show me that you've put in this amount of work in order to be qualified for this guarantee. And you're the judge of that. There is no right or wrong way to offer a guarantee, but just remember that if this, then that, and ask yourself what you're actually willing to do if somebody doesn't reach a certain threshold that you have promised them or guaranteed them that they would reach.
And I think that one of the reasons why this helps, again, potential clients and customers feel safe is, would you guarantee something that if you didn't know that it worked? Like, you should know, I'm going to know that my program works before I say I'm going to give you all your money back if it doesn't work for you, right? So it helps them feel safe and know that you know what you're talking about. And in general, percentage-wise, most people, there's always going to be somebody. I mean, we'll just put it out there. There's always somebody who's looking for a way to get something for less or for nothing. Put that fear aside, because what you can get from gaining the trust and the purchase is much higher as far as the amount of clients you can bring in versus the little bits of time that you might lose out. So I would put your fear aside on that.
That's awesome. That's such great advice. Okay, now the promise.
The promise. Promises should be simple. They should be something like, I will pour my heart and soul, like something I just said. I will work with you until you're finished on this. I will provide you with 30 years of my training and support to ensure that you find success within this program. I will give you, you're telling them, but you're not hinging it on anything. Oh, I guess I'm hinging it on their purchase, but I'm not hinging it on specific work that they do and saying I'm going to give it back. I'm basically saying I'm going to put forth this good faith effort, and it can again build trust because you're using trust building words, but you're not necessarily putting your money where your mouth is in that. That's for the guarantee. But I promise that I will be there every Monday morning at 8
Right.
o'clock for that session. I promise that you will be able to reach me, and I will get back to you within this much time. Whatever, again, as you've gone through this list, and you should be doing this if you're building out an offer, a list of all the different objections that somebody could possibly have. Well, what am I doing to defeat those objections? And a lot of that can be in our words of trust and how we can build that with somebody, and just explaining, look, I'm here for you. This matters to me, and this is how I'm going to do it. So we don't need to put a dollar value next to those words. They're just strong words when they come in writing or in video or however it is you're sharing it with the public.
Oh, that's so good. Love that. Okay, so let's recap what we talked about today. We talked about the 5 keys to a sold out offer, or we've called them irresistible offers. And you guys, these are really important. Again, we're not talking about the actual curriculum. We're not talking about the outline of your program. We're not talking about your intellectual property or your method that you teach. We're talking about when that is done, and then you go to make the offer to help people. And we move into the marketing and the sales part of selling your program. And I think it's important that we separate out here. We've actually been talking about this a lot for the last few months on the podcast, but I think it's important that we separate it out, because building, obviously, the content we're going to talk about next week, but doing this well, this is what people buy. People buy the offer. They just assume and pray and hope, based on the guarantee, that your program is engineered well and you're actually good at teaching what you do. They buy the offer. They bet on the program because they don't see it yet, but this is what they get to see. And that's why this is so important, to communicate this very, very well. And just like Jessica said, heading off those objections, getting in their mind and knowing what they're already thinking, I think is the key to all of this, right? The pricing, the scarcity, the bonuses, the guarantee, and the promise. I think that that's the key to all of it. And like Jessica talked about in the beginning, that does require knowing your audience. That does require market research. It's just like the pricing did. It does require you knowing how you're serving and what they really need, but also what they're resistant to. I think it's a big part of this.
I think if you think about a program, or your coaching program, what it is that you're selling is inside the box, and your offer is, the wrapping outside of it. You're not going to buy just a black box, even if it is on the end cap at Walmart. You're not going to buy it. You need to know what's in it. And we all know that certain packaging sells better than others, right? We're attracted to a cover of a book, even though it doesn't tell us exactly what's in it. If we're at a bookstore, we are looking at the package. And part of that package is the writing, the synopsis of the book. So all of those things matter. So the packaging of the offer, these 5 things, I think will really help yours stand out better and will help you know. I think if you go through them, they'll really help you know that much better what you're putting inside the box. And making sure that when they open it, it's everything that they wanted and even more, because you're delivering so high.
All I can think of is Tiffany's blue box with diamonds inside when you said that.
Yeah.
Is it a Tiffany box? Or is it... I was just watching, what is it, Sweet Home Alabama, where he takes her. Have you ever seen that movie where he takes her?
It's mine and my husband's first date. It was our first date when we were dating.
I was just watching that. And he just turns on the lights and she's in the back door at Tiffany and Company. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's great. But yeah, so are you, is it a Tiffany box that you're packaging up? Or, or
you better have a Tiffany ring in that box. You're going to put it in a Tiffany box, okay?
Right.
No Tiffany blue if it ain't Tiffany, okay?
Right. I think that's such a good analogy, though. So we'll leave you guys with this, right? So what's in the box is the program. We talk about it all the time. Of course, if you guys need help with that, we help subject matter experts build leading programs and create sold out offers. But Today, I'm so glad, first of all, for you guys to meet Jessica here on the podcast. She's so awesome. And unpacking this part of the wrapping of the box because it is separate than what is on the inside. And I think that's a perfect analogy. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we are going to wrap this up. Please share this episode with anybody you feel like this would be beneficial. You know, we don't have advertising here on the show, so we really rely on our friends like you to up arrow and share this and share the wealth of knowledge. And Jessica, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I know you're going to be on here a million more times, and you guys can connect with Jessica through our social media channels as well. And then, Jessica, what is connect with her on LinkedIn? We're hanging out a lot more on LinkedIn, you guys. If you aren't hanging out with us on LinkedIn, hang out with us on LinkedIn as well. But how can people find you?
Any of the socials that I am Jessica Erwin. Erwin with an E.
Awesome.
But yeah, otherwise, any place Sweet Life is, I am at. So I will find your message.
Thank you so much. So glad you're
Thank
here.
you.
All right, you guys, let's wrap up this episode here. Isn't Heather awesome? Again, cruise over to heathersager.com. We are big fans, and as you know, I bring Heather in to work with our clients who are licensing their programs and trying to sell their courses to companies, organizations, and other small businesses. So what are your action items here after this? What is the first thing you're going to do? Oftentimes you can listen to a podcast episode and there's so many great things and you're not really sure where to start. So let's start by asking yourself this. Is this business model, so the speaking to sell your programs model, one that you're interested in, one that you've been looking for the solution to? You've been looking for a while. If that answer is yes, then hey, let's go ahead and take it to the next step. Do we have your products created? Do we have your courses, your trainings created in a way that they give people guaranteed transformation? So if you don't, then you can cruise over to where we are at sweetlifeco.com and we will help you build your transformational $1 million programs. And then the third part of that is, if you are really interested in diving into learning this business model of speaking, unpacking your ideas out of your head. I don't know about you, but I can help other people unpack their ideas. But when it comes to my own, especially when it comes to my signature talk, it's really hard for me to see it. It's like a lot of smoke in the air. It's always harder for me to see my own things than it is. So I go to people like Heather for help in this area. So Heather's amazing, and you can find her programs over at Heather Sager, it's Sagar, at heathersager.com. And of course, we will give all of the resources on the show notes for that, and they can be found at sweetlifeco.com. This is episode number 290. And as we mentioned, it is a perfect pair with licensing your program to other companies and one of the many powerful tools that we have to sell your programs. So if that's what you're interested in, you are certainly in the right place. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I hope you got as much out of this as I know that I did. I always have notes after I leave listening to Heather speak. She is just a rock star, as I'm sure you can tell. And cruise over on social media and tell Heather hello, as well as sharing this episode. We'd really appreciate that. All right, you guys have an awesome week. I will talk to you next week. Cruise over on YouTube and you can see our video podcast as well now. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.